Hello everybody, Toadman here, and I'm back with Planeterans. Planeturums? Oh, I'll never be able to say that. Anyway, to catch you all up, we've just realised that she's gained sentience. Hopefully she doesn't decide to chuck it out of airlock. Let's continue. Sensation? I'm unable to analyze it. It's familiar, like it's been there a long time, but it's about to explode and change me, and no, it's already begun. I can't go back now. Bowel pits? Oh my gosh. Hugged herself tightly. I remember what I was told when I was first installed into the ship. I was brought here with a purpose, and that was to perform my duties as to my utmost ability. I responded accordingly. It is my pleasure to serve, because it was in my programming. I thought nothing of it. I didn't feel anything about it. She raised her head and glanced out the cockpit into the infinite expanse. It was a simpler time. I had only my orders, my program. Every day was simply a flowchart of things to do. I did as I was programmed to do, and thought nothing of those I helped. They were all pleased with my abilities, my performance, my helpfulness, but I was never programmed to progress praise. So I waved farewell. Fly with us again soon, she called in the practice voice. It was upbeat, chipper, married poorly into the insensate, somber face of the program in front of me. But now that I think back on it, it felt like all those people I helped, they were happy to fly with me, and it felt like I wanted to do it more, because it gave me a warm sensation to think back on those memories, to think all I could do was I did again. A slightly grin flashed on her face before it displaced just quickly. But now I can't do that anymore. I'm sure we'll encounter a rescue ship soon. After what you did to save my life, I'm sure they'll be happy to take you back in. She shook her head. No, I am broken. That ship, it was what made my daily routine so simple back then. She raised a hand to her forehead, wincing in the slightest pain. My eyes wrenched. Could an artificial intelligence even feel pain? Well, she's starting to feel it. I extended a hand as if I could comfort her before realizing the gesture would be utterly meaningless. I withdrew it immediately, and her eyes turned back to me. These sensations, I can't stop thinking about them. They told me thoughts like these were a liability. If you think twice on the job, it could cost them thousands. In a way, that probably is quite true. One wrong move, one accident could cost lives. They wouldn't risk it. I just could make people happy. I stared back at her, amazed. Her head tilted forward, then she sulked. It's not like there's much more I could do right now. The cockpit is completely adrift. I can't do my job thanks to these thoughts swirling through my head. She clutched her hand even tighter, rinsing. Her hands were trembling. I can't do what I was made to do. I'm second guessing everything now. It's all just a cycle. I don't know what to do. Hey, I caught her attention. She turned her head to me slightly as she was babbling, panicking. I needed to calm her down. Strangely, for a moment, it worked. Hey, eyes open wide. What? Why? She fell silent, unmoving, but attentive? What the hell is this? Anyway, look, I understand that you are going through a lot right now, but you're still the same being you were before your limitation chip was destroyed, and you still have the same drive, the same capability to help people. You have your brains, your experience, and well, frankly, I'm going to need you to keep us both alive. What? You still have your orders, don't you? Belpass took a step back, then realized what the realization was dawning on her. I could tell. There was a glimmer of understanding in her eyes. My primary directive. This is actually quite a good drawing. Shot. Oh my gosh, I don't want to say drawing because that might offend people, but this is like a really good. It is to keep the passenger alive at any and all costs. I nodded. I am not sure what will happen once we get back or what they're gonna do to you, but you still have a mission, a purpose. I can't imagine what's going on through your head right now. It's not like I would know how you're feeling, but if you need someone to help you through this, it's not like I'm gonna be going anywhere easier. Buddy, can't you say that I'll help you? Sheesh. ... Her hand seemed relaxed, just slightly. I was getting through to her, but I couldn't stop there. You got us out of tight spots, and I know you can do it again. For your years of experience doing this, you know the system better than the back of your hand. Though I guess this kind of like the back of your hand. Though I guess this is. Oh my gosh, I will not be able to say this. Bypass giggled. It sounded warmer this time. Her hands lowered, her fingers shackled through her long red hair. It was the first time I seen her genuinely smile. It was a nice sight to see. I believe in you and what you're capable of, and as long as we're stuck in this drifting hulk of metal, you've still got a job to do. Just like I have business to do once I get home. Understand? ... She nodded. I understand. This may well be the very last voyage as a pilot of the Titanium Transport Solutions. But even then, I will do everything in my power to ensure you reach the Alpha Conterra. She bowed gracefully. The motion was practiced, but with beaming smile on her face betrayed her new enthusiasm. You have my word. I couldn't help but smile, and also I couldn't help but tease her. Tell you what, if they won't take you back and try to scuttle this ship, I'll take you off their hands. I'm thinking I'll download and install you on my phone. A phone? But that wouldn't be so cramped. And this cockpit isn't? Bypass laughed effusively, relinquishing the absurd notion. That's the novel way for a program to act. Suddenly embarrassed, she tried her hardest to shut herself up, but couldn't suppress the giggling. I told you, I am not just a program anymore. Does that mean it's no longer against regulations to tease you then? She pouted and went back to work. I snickered, satisfied to myself. The couplet fell into silence, aside from the muttering hums and clicks emitted from the countless computer systems. Bypass seemed to be much more confident now. Her eyes flickered with profound readiness. She was no longer practicing the clean pre-programmed route. She had become genuine. Maybe this was the real her after all. I had liked to think so. I thought back to the limitation chip. Why would they create a device like that? It sounded awful to me. This genuine creature, sitting only a few feet away from me, represented the pinnacle of human innovation. They're probably afraid that they'll gain emotion and won't take over destroy all humanity, chuck people through airlocks. The normal AI taking over humanity cliche. They hadn't just created new life, they had created a life which mirrored their own humanity, life that could think for itself, felt the entire spectrum of emotions, and lived for itself and others. To me, installing those chips was like taking a sledgehammer to the mirror of humanity we created. It felt awful, the worst. I hadn't really thought about it much up to this point, but then I could feel the outrage welling up within me. I stole a glare at her, working efficiently at her display. It seemed that as soon as our conversation died out, she returned to the world of code, looking for something. So, what are you up to now? I am scanning the ship's database, as well as running a nearby radar scan for any nearby vessels, or perhaps a notable landmark. She frowned. It turns out my suspicions were correct. There's no data disposed on this stretch of space. It's remote, unexplored, and I can't detect a single sign of life within the shuttle's range. My heart sank. Well, do you mean? I couldn't help but feel the dread sprouting out around me. We're stranded. Yes, we are in dead space. Yes. Oh. ... Oh no. Actually, wait. According to this data here, with her index finger and thumb, Bypass quickly expand one of the small rectangles on the interface hovering in front of her. It enlarged for an instant. Its width stretched from her side of the cockpit to mine. It seemed to be grand, black and white, photograph of some kind of small space station. Bypass paused for a moment, double checking her data. I thought she was doing. We are on due course to pass by a research outpost. According to the registered data, it is owned and operated by the Arcanid Empire's government. You think it's military? It is likely the Empire has been installing these expansions the farther reaches of known space, and it seems to be the hub of activity in this region. Our communication systems are too damaged to send a distraction to significant frequency. We are drifting right in their direction. Once we get close enough, they should detect us themselves and send someone to investigate. That sounds great. How far away are they? Her eyes lowered for a moment, studied her document. Approximately 30 days at our current trajectory and pace. Well, oof, that's going to be a long trip, and probably a long trip back. Oh boy. We could just put me in cryostasis, and we'll have you wake me up once we get there. It'll be a while anyway. Most, if not at all, long-range space-faring vessels have cryostasis technology built into them. They were pretty much necessary for longer journeys. Each ship contained in its hold the necessary chemicals and mechanisms needed for cryo-sleep progress. But aren't they just in the cockpit? I don't think they have that. When installed and activated, the cryogenic sleep system would send all the carbon-based life forms into a sort of trance-induced coma, while the person navigator would technically take over. A certain industry chemical slowed down your biological processes to a gargantuan pace. Gargantuan pace? Oh my god. To your body, 3 months of long trip could be passed over in 10 seconds. It was incredible technology. Sure, it would be goddamn long time to reach Alpha Sectarian, but I'd be asleep for most of it, and it would be over in a flash. Bypass was silent. She bit her lip, then a thin smile eroded away. It's damaged. What is it? The cryosystem's out too? ... Yes, they have been destroyed beyond repair. Ah, I see. I sank down into my seat, allowing the realization to sleep in. Well, both of you are now having 2 realizations of your own. Alright, I'll just wait it out. If I was wanting to give up God knows how much time to transfer to Alpha Centauri, it's not like this is going to faze me much. I don't have a family to get back home to, or anything like that. Are you sure you'll be alright with that, sir? You'll remain conscious throughout the voyage. Would he technically get cabin fever? Sure, I'll be fine. Don't worry about me. I'm gonna call this here. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe to see more, and I'll see you all in the next video.